Can you change your relationship towards a narcissistic mother? Yes, you can. It's going to be very difficult and it's going to be very hurtful for you, but the gain is so much higher. Hi, I'm christinajunge. I'm a love and leadership coach, and I want to talk to you about setting boundaries, healthy boundaries towards a narcissistic mother, be it that she is alive and in your life still, or be it that she is already out of it. Maybe she's dead already. This is a very, very, very hurtful theme, and I would like to make some emphasis today on how you can get out of the relationship. I will propose 8 points for you, like how to get out, how to set boundaries, how is it that you need to heal, how you can stop suffering in silence and to understand that there is some people who will not support you on that, to stop being a people pleaser and a harmony seeker, and to speak out for yourself. The bonus is what happens with no contact if this person is still in your life. That's gonna go crazy. Let's start up. I have a client of mine. She has a narcissistic mother, and she was telling me all these crazy, like everything what she invented, let's say all day long, each time she gets in contact with her, of how to make her small, of how to really like drain her, of how to make her feel crazy, of how to be always right, of how to constantly being really superficial and entitled with her, of not caring about her feelings, of being really arrogant and grandiose. And this is like some very few of the attributes of a narcissistic mother. And the second part, which I really always want to emphasize on, is how this narcissistic mother most often is a highly recognized person, is a highly functional person. You know, these are professionally well recognized, or in their community work well recognized people with a high ego and with a high, let's say, outgoing way of their personality and of impressing people and of showing exactly this other face which they are not showing inside the relationship with their let's say chosen victim, because they do choose him. Why would we think a person would choose a victim, and how could we differentiate it? Well, because of that, you know, because they're having two faces, one inside the victim relationship and one outside. And usually this face is really the absolute opposite, the absolute polarity of of behavior and of inclusively empathy. You know that a narcissist or a narcissistic mother distinguishes herself for really not having or not showing, not wanting to show, not wanting to get into this contact of empathy, of contact emotionally with her daughter or with her son. And this has good reasons. Okay, let's go into how this client of mine dealt after a while with this narcissistic mother, besides of being really hooked on having to constantly feeling to have. She's an adult client, a married client. She is 10 years married now, and that you would say she's an adult person with a successful personal relationship, with a successful marriage, and it was still hard for her to make this distinction of having a very loving marriage and a very loving relationship, a very fruitful relationship, very understanding, very empathic. I mean, she didn't choose a narcissist, not at all, which people don't have to. And still not being able to put healthy boundaries to her mother, to whom she still was, I call this like scratching on the balcony door, like saying, let me in, like this poodle, this little white poodle scratching on the balcony door and asking for this recognition, asking for this love, asking for finally being recognized, asking for this finally being like ironed out, this entire relationship, and finally all these misunderstandings about how this mother would perceive a daughter ever since would be just eradicated finally, And I'm telling you something, it's just not going to be the case, If this person, if this abusive person, this narcissistic mother decided to do this and has inclusively come to a point where she got really like hardened her heart and her behaviors and her way of relating and her way of thinking about how she is and what her victim is, obviously is, going to be the one who's guilty, obviously going to be the one she is shaming, obviously going to be the one she's critical of, obviously going to be the one she wants to let down all the time, to apparently in this kind of forming the relationship, getting herself up higher in her self-esteem and her self-image, and in her constant searching for being held a grandiose person. So getting out of this behavior of I call this like this poodle scratching the balcony door, let me in, it's so cold out here and I really, really, really need your love, and you're hugging me and having me and finally accepting me and recognizing me. And, this behavior is just, it's like going nowhere. It's like really ending up in an empty space. And the more you as daughter or son of a narcissistic mother would try to convert her finally, have finally earning her love, have finally turning her face towards you and finally loving you, finally being there for you, finally recognizing you, finally holding you, finally apologizing, letting you know that it was just a spooky game and it's over now, and just recognize it is not gonna happen. I know it's hard. So my entrance sentence was, can you change your relationship to a narcissistic mother, her being alive or not? It's not only that you can, you have to. You have to change it. Do you know why? Because otherwise you're just going to be in a silent way repeating all the time the same psychological abuse what this narcissistic mother was exercising on you, and you need to heal from that, and you can heal from that. It's a way, it's a path to go, and it's tiring because there's so strong like bonds which this narcissistic mother has been constructing on you to make sure you're going to be this dependent one on her recognition and love and approbation, because she feeds off of that. And for you to understand that you need to cut those bonds. You need to cut those bonds. And it's going to take some time, because your entire self and your entire thinking of and about yourself is kind of tied inside of these same bonds, which are going towards her, of still asking her to cut this disapprobation, this unlove, to finally, you stay in this relationship because in the end you want her to finally change, to finally recognize you, to finally have her recognize that you are valid, that you are lovable, that you are beautiful, that you are amazing, and understand that you can only get your entire dignity and your entire worth back at the moment when you cut those ties. She's not gonna do it for ya. Just understand. She's just not gonna do it for you. She will not ever come to apologize, to recognize you, to praise you, to make you understand that you're great, that you did a good job, and not to talk about having some sort of insight or some desire to reconcile or to make you feel better about it, or to make her feel better about it, because in the end she is not feeling good about that. She wouldn't expose some similar crazy behavior if she would think this is okay. So she only uses this behavior for you to stay in this, I call this this eating up like relationship where she constantly preys on you. Got that one? Okay, get out. It is not only a thing of getting out, because it is almost like spiritual ties. You can do this this ritual of getting into a space with yourself and putting on a candle. If you want to write down the main points you had with her, not right now going to the real deep work, though you could, but this video isn't for that right now. I could guide you through this wouldn't be the problem, but let's do just the cutting the ties ritual. You make a little ritual. You use, if you want to, some symbols, of understanding how much damage she was doing to you, she was inflicting on you. Hopefully you write some things down if you want to use like a dark symbol to later get rid of it, or to burn the paper, or to to unearth it, or to throw it in a river. You can do that, that wouldn't be a problem. But don't burn anything in the house, and just make sure you're safe while you're doing this. And you can, on the other hand, put a prospering symbol, which makes you reminding you on the strength you're having, and that you can construct this strength, and that you can be there for yourself, and that you will fight and struggle yourself through this process of cutting those ties. Sometimes it's really powerful. I've seen this with my clients when I only do this, when people really getting into this, and we're explaining the dynamics, and I say, you just got to cut those ties. I mean, I literally saw this sometimes like a big old rubber band, chung, like this got cut that moment, these ties, just this consciousness of you knowing you can do this. So cut the ties, do a small ritual. Be sure to understand why, without right now having to do the whole work, getting you maybe really messed up emotionally. I don't want to go there right now. We can do this in a later video. Set boundaries. Understand when you're writing down this little list of what is maybe what most hurt you, or what is more obvious to you at this point in your life, of how to set boundaries and how to cut these bands you are having with this woman, and to focus on how you can finally empower yourself when these kind of traits are coming up, This could be something like, I remember my client, she was saying that her mom would constantly get on her clothes, like she wouldn't be dressed right, and that she shouldn't dress like this, and that she still is dressing like this. And this client, she obviously is dressing very low profile because she didn't want to call attention anymore with clothes, what she didn't ever, but just to avoid that her mom would see or point out that she would be inadequately clothed, But this is maybe a little bit specific, though it could come up in this entire type of competition relationship you might feel with this narcissistic mother. Hi, get out, set boundaries. Boundaries is not something you put while she's there, or while she texts you, or while she contacts you, or while she calls you, or in the same manner how she calls you, when she calls you, and when she mingles up things and make you feel all crazy about it, like you being crazy while it's not you. Boundaries happen inside of ourselves. Okay, so this is this entire a ritual for, and also possibly a ritual which in a positive way reminds you on you having done this step, although you don't see right now the results, which doesn't matter, you will see results, you will. And the results can also be that at the next moment, the entire aggression and abuse is just gonna get up, if she's still alive. Also, what can happen if she's not alive? Once you try to cut those ties you have with her, and you try to get out of this, like emotionally out of this and energetically out of this really dependent relationship, that your emotions are coming up, okay? And that will be fine. You can check my other video about how to hold your inner child, how to be with your inner child, and how to take care of yourself emotionally, how to be there and stay in there once strong emotions come up. Just stay. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? What can I do for you? You are now an adult person. You're an adult person, You can take care of this little child inside of you, which is basically all these strong emotions which are coming up at the point when you are getting out of a relationship, or when you are empowering yourself, when you're getting in contact with all these hurt feelings. And it is okay for you to stay in there. If strong emotions come up in public, in a setting where you feel you can't get into it, go to the bathroom. It takes really, 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 believe me, 2 minutes to just stay for a moment and feel what was there, and to reassure yourself or this inner child, if you can make this contact with, that there is an inner child, like this little girl or this little boy who was suffering at that age, when this started, or when this like dark sentiments which are coming up right now were originated. Just be there for her or him. Just be there for a moment. Stay there. Although you want to run, although you want to get out of it, although you feel crazy, although, you just don't want to, like the best bet you can do, and the best thing you have done all your life long was to get out of this crazy feeling and emotion. It's a very natural reaction of wanting to get out of negative emotions. That's natural, you know. Negative emotions are there to show us something, you know. And what is it? Usually boundaries, you know. It is usually like, oh, stop, you know, you don't get closer here. And this is setting boundaries. So inside of yourself, besides of getting out of the relationship, be this person alive or not, okay? Just get safe. Understand that you need to be safe. You might want to like fix her, you know, you might want to cater to her and have her being the victim. But well, I can tell that she's suffering too, and she's been having a hard childhood, and she is this and that. Everything she told you, you know, in all her life. Yes, she did. Yeah, I know she did. But this is right now not your task. You know, if you want to at a later point where you're having good boundaries and where you're not seeking any more love and recognition from her, want to rationalize about what might have brought her to abusing of you so thoroughly, you can do that. But it has nothing to do with this emotional relationship anymore then, okay? And until then, I don't want you to even try, okay? Just get out, set boundaries, and these are boundaries for yourself. I love this one. Here, check this out. No. This is one for me, you know, like really self-affirming with not many words that it's not gonna fly with you anymore, like you're not there anymore, you know. I don't know, like a good example right now you could bring up with somebody who would want something from you, and you out of your natural boundaries would say no, we're not going to do this. Think about a child. That's a good one. A child is going to want to go and get another whatever sugar bomb there, and it's going all by itself to the kitchen closet, and you say no, my dear one, you had already two, we're done with that. Okay, how you would like educate a child, you now need to educate yourself on it. All right, and see how you can set up those boundaries by making it very self-understood, like really felt, you know, like really getting yourself immersed into this feeling, and it needs to be felt, you know. It's not like here, so like no, you can't do this right now, you know. It's like no, feel this, you no you can do this with me. No longer, not anymore. Okay. This is one thing. And the other thing, which was very powerful for my client, as she said, was when this person, be it remembered if she's not there anymore, or be it in an actual relationship with her right now, when this person says like all these weird things and turns things in your mouth, you know, like tweaks things in your life and in your mouth, and separating yourself from the situation and from the emotion, and saying like, oh, that's interesting, you know, like a professional, you know. If you would be a professional, or if you would be, again, in a relationship with a child, you know, you don't get mingled up by their all crazy stuff, you know, you're listening to. It's like, you know, they're just growing up, or, you know, when you're in a professional relationship, there's a person who needs help, you know. So you can put it like in a form of separating yourself from it, like oh, that's interesting, but it has nothing to do with me anymore. Understand that? Yeah? You don't have to like get into this. Okay. Set boundaries. This happens inside, and I can talk at a later point about setting direct boundaries which are really for nothing with a narcissistic mother, because she's not gonna keep to him. All the difference, she's gonna twist things for you, all right, and make you feel crazy about it. So put the boundaries with yourself and separate yourself emotionally and mentally in a way that you're not anymore dependent on her approval to finally recognize how crazy she was, how mean she was, how, manipulative she was, how, and then to understand that you need to heal. Can you change your relationship with a narcissistic mother? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It might not be inside of the relationship. It might be in relation to yourself. This is going to be so much more important. Fourth, stop suffering in silence. Look for people who support you and who understand the dynamics. Please. Who understand the dynamics and who do support you. Please do not go towards the people who at best know her second side, her second face, her way of showing up all grandiose or excellent or rational or all creative or all superior, and who think that's who she is, and who still think you are crazy because you were suffering so much throughout your lifespan that you, let's put it like this, you think you're a little bit crazy, don't you? Yeah, you have to think you're a little bit crazy, because if you have lived this craziness, you must think a little bit that you are crazy, because this is what she feeds off, right? So please do not now seek approval of the people who support her and who put you in this position you well know, where you keep on being the victim, where you keep on being the one who's the crazy, who keeps on being the guilty one, who make you feel ashamed, who make you feel little, who make you feel not being enough, who make you feel not being worthy. Get out of that. Get out of that. Yeah, that's a good one too. When this comes up with other people or with this same abusive mother, get out of that. Just become a little cool, and get this woman out of your life. Here's the door. It's like, here's the door. Talk to the hand, but don't engage with it anymore. Understand it's now your turn to take care of yourself, to be there with yourself, to walk yourself through it. Okay, stop suffering in silence. Stop being a people pleaser. Stop being a harmony seeker. I can't say that like this. I know this harmony and this people-pleasing soothed you. You wanted nothing more in life than happy, loving relationships where you're being recognized, where you're having your entire dignity, where you're being in all your peace, where you're being whole, where you're being all with and by yourself. But stop pleasing the wrong people, please. Learn. This is a really difficult one, yeah? Learn to be catered to. Learn to receive. Learn to trust, not the wrong thing, but to trust in the little things, to surround yourself with people with whom you might not have this like really strong, bounded, tight relationship, or where you like tell so much. These relationships might feel maybe first more a little bit superficial, or not having this intensity you're used to because of this upbringing, and because of seeking these kind of relationships, because of having all these emotions inside of yourself, where you're constantly seeking approval, constantly feeling not enough, constantly feeling ashamed, constantly feeling crazy, constantly feeling never being enough to be loved, for who you are. And this is a real hard one. And of course you need harmony and need people around you which give you safety and which feel, when I say don't be a people pleaser, it is okay for you to still please people by the way you are. This is a very human trait, it's like we all do this, and it's very healthy. But there's a part of you, when you have grown with a narcissistic mother, which is overly harmony and people-pleasing seeking. Yeah, because your environment was so crazy, your environment was so disrespectful, and you have absorbed this into your entire being, that this is you, that this will be the way you're going to be relating to people. And stop, please yourself more, allow yourself being in safe relationships which maybe are not that intense, or maybe you do have intense relationships. It's much possible to the other to, if you're a woman, you might have them to other women, you might not, or you might have them towards men which are pleasing. Just start to be a receiver. If you're a man, you might have these kind of really understanding relationships per se with men or with women. Surely be there, nurture them, communicate. This is like this stop suffering in silence. Understand that you right now need to start communicating your processes, your perceptions, like taking yourself serious, like being enough for yourself, like not, I call this like flagellate yourself all the time for every little mistake you made, or every sense of somebody would disapprove of you, or you would be like seemingly to be too crazy or something like this. Don't feed into this anymore. Just go back with yourself, be with yourself, say, I'm enough, I can be there for myself. I know there have been people in my life, put it general. Don't get into the accusation thing, like, I know my mother did this, and then you get to the next conclusion, and I'm never going to get out of this. Yes, you get out of this. And you can put it general, There have been people in my life who haven't recognized me, who haven't wanting to give love, and that's okay for me, that was interesting for me to understand. But now I am going to be catering to myself, and I'm going to be putting my attention and starting to feel how people also loved me, how people also are being there for me, how people also appreciate me. And it might be that you just feel this being really small, but you can make it bigger. It's always very, very powerful for my clients. It's been for me too. to start loving yourself, to start being there for yourself, and to start giving yourself constantly throughout the day messages of self-love. You're so beautiful, I love you so much. Don't look in the mirror and look what you're all having wrong or what you said wrong. Just be a little bit more indulgent, just be a little bit more of letting go of your errors. Supposedly nobody sees them besides you, and start feeding yourself, start nurturing yourself in a way that you start believing, your subconscious mind starts believing you, that you are beautiful, that you're valid, that you're worthy, that you're loved, and that you're lovable. That was a big one for me, understanding that I am lovable, okay? And it's beautiful, it's a beautiful path to these 2 points, like giving you these self-affirmations, although it might seem crazy and look crazy at the first moment for you, that you're like, come on, are you gonna do this? Yeah, you're gonna do that, and you're gonna feel how this contrasts with how you really feel about yourself. And do you know who did that? It was probably not only your mom. There were probably more people in your life who were not consistent. Let's put it like this, in giving you love. And a narcissistic mom is it is very likely for her. This is not a rule, but it is very likely for her to have a permissive husband, or a permissive man in her life. So there could have happened some abuses too, on that side, of this more hidden side. This side is usually not that outgoing, but I do find many people who have had narcissistic moms that they had that she had, let's say, a husband or a partner which was at times close to you, or who would even, this is a tricky one, have you almost like a female figure, where he could get into this emotional contact since you were a child, and since you were the victim, and that he can start relating with you, or was relating with you in a way that's for women, in a way that made you feel that you would get this thumb up. It's also for men, right? But I can call up recall right now, especially this women relationship, a father-woman relationship, where he replaces the. Well, she's not going to be so much feeling showing with him either, I mean, they can have a relationship where she's maybe exactly what he needed, as in a form of distance, in a form of not getting close to him, but you might have been a safe place, be it a woman or a man, or a child, like a boy or a girl, and showing you much closeness, and at the same time possibly being the one who's manipulating you. So it wasn't all this of a healthy relationship possibly either, but you might have a good experience of somebody who would a little bit pamper you, would sometimes be there for you. But it is very likely that this person wasn't consistent. So you couldn't build up out of this relationship a healthy self-image, or a healthy self-esteem, or a healthy self-love, and that you hold this too high, this other relationship, to this partner of the narcissistic mother, because he found in you an ally, or somebody he could reinforce an emotional relationship with, while he couldn't do it with this narcissistic wife or partner. And you need to be a little bit careful. It can be very helpful for you while you build up your self-love and your self-esteem, that you recall how this father figure, hopefully, maybe it's the mother, the grandmother, like the mother of your narcissistic mother, might be, doesn't have to be, it can be all kinds of constellations. But somebody in this entire family constellation was like the counterpart to her narcissism. But this can never be a really, really, really healthy part, and this person possibly wasn't, or either consistent or not consistent, or really just not healthy in the way he would lift you up, in the way he would get into a relationship with you. Different topic. But you can think about this when you're talking about stop being a people pleaser, stop being a harmony seeker, and to be speaking out for yourself now with people who are there for you, to be taking care of yourself, and to start. This is really, really, really important. This seventh point. This speak out for yourself. When you were constantly silenced in your childhood by a narcissistic mother for what you perceive, what you feel, how you think about things, how you express yourself, how your being there, your entire being there was never right, whatever you did was never right in reality, or rarely right, besides that she might have been like a fun and intelligent and creative and all kinds of this person. You need to learn to be more serious with yourself, to take your perceptions, your feelings, what you need to say, what you need to speak out, what you need to ask, what you need to think about. You might want to revise that, and to be really serious with yourself, to be really, I'm just going to put the microphone on, that's a good idea. Hello, that might be a better tone now. Okay. To be there in a form of saying the truth for yourself, to speaking out where you're really at, to be speaking out is very much close to healing and setting boundaries. But when you do not start to set boundaries, when you do not start to ask questions at the moment that things are going weird for you, or strange, or that you can't understand, or the moment you start getting into your emotions and into your feelings, things might be very counterintuitive, suddenly for you. Okay, and this might cause insecurities, so you might have to build up your entire identity very, very new. And again and again, don't stop being there for you. When things are going strange and crazy, when you see yourself being harmony seeking and people pleasing, when you see yourself feeling weird, when you see yourself strong feelings coming up, when you see yourself in situations where you withdraw, or where you feel you will have to defend yourself, just be there for you more than for anybody else. Don't try to fix people. Just not from now on, be there for you, that you can go a path of healing. All right, I'm just going to go now, jump to the bonus point. What happens when you start no contact, if this person is still around? What do you think is going to happen when you start no contact with a narcissistic mother? What do you think happens? What happened when you were setting boundaries, when you were questioning her, when you were telling her what you need, when you were putting healthy boundaries, let's say, the same client, I remember that she she always would text with her and make appointments, and they had like this ritual of going once a week to go shopping somewhere, and she would always, excuse me, fuck with her head, on who has to write first, and when this client would say like, oh, I would like to this and that. I mean, it was for this narcissistic mother a way of getting her basically out of her own will. Yeah, getting her into the narcissistic mother's will. So what do you think happens if you are going no contact? If you stop giving this narcissistic mother this power over you, that you will still seek approval from her and love and recognition, and for her to be there, and for her to change, and for her to apologize, and for her to blah blah blah. What's going to happen? She's probably gonna get up with abuse and violence on you. She's gonna make you feel guilty. She's gonna accuse you. She's gonna make you that you want to justify yourself. She will be very resentful. Yeah. She will do even like really crazy, spooky things that you're like, oh my God, that you really get like into this. What did you now? What was this weird text about? This woman will do anything, and I say really spooky things, crazy things, to maintain this relationship because it is her identity. If you get out of this relationship, her identity crashes. You are a part of her identity. Over you, she identifies her identity as being this great person out there, while she can still, like pick on you to have like an emotional outlet for her own problems. It's not your task to fix her, all right? And stay with the no. Or her getting all crazy, that you're like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, Christina said that. Yeah, she said that. Yeah, there it is. Oh, whoops, there it is. Don't engage. Stick with yourself. Stay with yourself. Build up, your own self-esteem, your own identity, your own being yourself, and get a life. Get a life. Stop, cut those ties, these rubber bands, chung, she'll be all like jumping back, and you'll feel it. I bet you feel it. You can comment down there. And get a life. Get a life on your own. Build your identity. And this identity has to be an identity where you listen inside of you. Okay? Where you listen to what you need, what you want, what you feel, what you think, how it feels, how to set boundaries, what you mean, where you ask questions, but where you're there for yourself, where you get people who don't serve you out of your life, okay? Where you stop being crazy. Just stop being crazy. Just stop feeling crazy. There's no reason for you to feel crazy anymore. I know I could go on and go on and go on. There's so many facets of talking about how to get out of generally abusive relationships, but a narcissistic mother, where you formed your identity towards the female sex, and towards your own identity and your own sex, be it as a man, as a boy, understanding how women are, or be it as a girl and understanding how women are. This is tough stuff. Just start being there for you. Just start no longer believing her craziness. Just start elevating your own identity to something where you first, more than anything else in this world, start listening to yourself, start believing yourself, stop criticizing yourself. That was her, okay? Stop flagellating yourself. That was her, you know, making you feel guilty, making you feel responsible, making you feel you're the one having to do this, making you feel you're the one, you were causing this in her. You know, if you wouldn't have said that, if you wouldn't have da, she wouldn't have to react in this way. Get over it. Get over it. Okay? Just have a life, you know, and see and look, be very, very sensitive to how this repeats in other relationships, be it to the other sex or be it with the same sex. Okay, when you're a man, how do you relate with narcissistic men? How do you relate to narcissistic women? And if they're not narcissists, how can they have just parts of being abusive, being emotionally abusive, being not supporting you, you know, that make you fall back into those patterns, like this people pleaser thing or this harmony seeker thing, where you fall back into those patterns where you flagellate yourself, where you criticize yourself, where you know, and you know, get like, oh my God, you know, I do this for you. Yeah, you're right. No, you're not right. And the same with women, you know. Check how you relate or have. We almost like pull these people into our lives where we have our wounds, you know. It's like this law of attraction thing, you know, that you are on this energy level where you almost like seek this kind of energy until you have resolved it, until you haven't have only traces in your blood of it, you know. So as a woman also, look how you have men or women, narcissists in your life, or people who have traits of your mother, you know, which don't have to be narcissists, but you will start to understand a little bit better how narcissists work, you know, and how emotional abuse works, and how to get out of this. And the only way I insist, you know, is getting yourself strong, getting in contact with yourself, understanding who you are, understanding what your position is, understanding that you're a full worth person, you know, worthy, that you are loved, that you are lovable, that you are interesting, that you are that you can come up and come out, you know, with the beautiful things you're having and holding inside of yourself, which might not be that loud, but maybe you don't want to be loud because this woman was so loud in your life, and you're having like this aversion to being loud or being grandiose yourself and really coming out and showing what you all have. And you need to learn this too, and disconnect this from her and being these traits being abusive traits. All right, there we go. Check my next video out. It's something also about narcissism, and I love to have you folks here. Give me your comments and see you there. Bye.